I was tagged by Stony Creek Heritage Farm and Spicy from Backwoods Raised. Talk about my worst and best hunting experience and who taught me. Stay tuned. So there I was, 12 years old. Back in the day, Pennsylvania had a split season. And when I say that, I mean they had a 2-week buck season for rifle and a 3-day doe season that followed that 2-week buck season. So buck would go out that Saturday, and that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday following that 2-week season was doe season. It was always in the late second week of December, and for whatever reason, it was always miserable weather. I was 12 years old, going out to hunt doe season, opening Monday. Didn't take my gloves. What a miserable experience. I remember it was 6 degrees out, not including the wind chill. We parked at the farm, grabbed our guns, loaded our guns, walked down in, probably a half mile, 6, 7, 800 yards at least. And there was a fence row that we always stood on. We'd always stand opening day till 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then we'd put our drives on. I didn't make it. I get down in there, and it's dark 30, and my hands are froze off my body. And I told my dad, I said, I got to go back to the car. And he's like, go ahead. And this whole time I'm thinking, why didn't I bring gloves? But now I'm thinking, why didn't my dad make sure I had gloves? So I went up, basically ran across this field, got to this hill that was about 400 yards, straight up, about 45-degree angle, and I ran up that thing, and I probably ran 400 yards in about a minute. Ran into the barn, and I helped the farmer do chores the rest of the day. I didn't even care if I saw a deer ever again. So my first hunt, at least in my first year, was a pretty bad experience for me. I think that's part of the reason why I archery hunt. Weather's a lot more tolerable, fewer guys in the woods. It's just a more peaceful experience for me. And my best experience was in 2015. I'd been watching this buck. He was a double main beam, 3.5-year-old. I was totally settled on him, which was a mistake. You get fixated on one buck and you start passing bucks that maybe you should have taken. But I passed a lot of bucks that year just to get to this one. I had 2 previous encounters with him in archery season. The last day of archery, he was 75 yards away. I had a decoy out. I had a doe bleat. He'd look, he wouldn't come in. A doe got down, she saw the decoy, heard me bleeding, got downwind of me, ran back to the sanctuary, basically started blowing and throwing a fit. He walked over to her like, what's wrong with you? She went down in the sanctuary, and he went down in, and about 10 minutes later it got dark and the season ended. However, the Friday before opening rifle season, I noticed he was coming out of my back pasture. He come out Friday night, he come out Saturday night, he didn't come out Sunday night. I thought, oh man, he's off pattern. Wasn't the case. So I had a bunch of work to do the next day. My son happened to be here. He didn't have a license, he's from out of state, but he was here. And I got home about 3 o'clock, which that first Monday after Thanksgiving, it gets dark about 5:15, 5:10-ish. I asked, I come in the house and I was like, you think I ought to go out and sit and see if I can get that buck? Yeah, why not? So I grabbed my bow. Now, mind you, this is the first day of rifle. I could have taken a rifle, but I wanted to get this deer with a bow. So I take my bow out. I get on stand. It's about 20 after 3. Really too late to be getting out there. But I got out there. I got on stand. Nothing. Didn't see a deer. It's about 10 to 5. And I'm about ready to pretty much concede the day. And all of a sudden, here he comes. I thought, oh no. I got to relax. I got to get it together. Just get it together. And, I saw in a hunting show one time, this guy says, I'm not going to let a hair get in the way of me reaching my hunting goals. And I thought about that. And I thought, yeah, this sucker, he's got the best of me twice already. It ain't happening a third time. So I just acted like, it sounds stupid, but I acted like I was at war and he was my enemy. And if I didn't get him, I was going to die. So that completely changed my mindset right away. And I got mad at him, actually. And he come walking 25 yards in front of me, and I double lunged him. He probably ran, I'm going to tell you, at least 100 yards, double lunged, big bodied deer. I shot him with a Schwacker, 1 3/4 cut. So you get them 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 year old bucks, they're tough. They can run. But though it's my worst story, my best story, and who taught me, you got to give credit most of the time to your dad. He was an avid archery hunter in his day. The difference is, in his day, they didn't use compound bows. They were recurve guys. And he'd go out and whack deer with a recurve. He'd shoot them running. Oh yeah, I shot this 9-point. Boy, I had that bow drawn back. As soon as he jumped that fence, I let that arrow go and double lunged him. I'm thinking, what? It's just unheard of. Archery, you just don't shoot at a moving deer. You stop them, but back in that, those days, it was just a different hunt. It's just a completely different mindset. But he got me into it. I dug into archery once I got out of the military. I needed things to do. And so I got into archery and never looked back. So that's my story. I'm going to tag 3 channels now, and I'll put their links in the description below. The first one I'm going to tag is Murder Inc. I was just in his live stream. The second one I'm going to tag is Cole Outdoors, assuming you haven't done it yet. And the third one I'm going to tag is Daddy's Life, assuming you haven't done it yet either. I've kind of been keeping up with your guys' videos, and I haven't seen it. So I'm going to put your links in there. Have fun. Thanks for listening. Have a better than average day.